The purpose of this video is to demonstrate how to solve addition problems adding mixed numbers. Um, so we'll go ahead and get started. Our first example that I'd like to use is this one. Let's say we have 2 and 1/8, and we're going to add to that 3 and 1/2. Now this is a fairly easy addition problem. I know that's going to be fairly easy because, well, you'll see. First thing I would do is I'd go ahead and add my numbers. 2 plus 3 is 5. You can always go ahead and add your whole numbers, but then you got to work on these two fractions. Here we have 1/8 plus 1/2. Now, we can't just simply say 1/2 plus 1/8 equals this because we probably don't know. We have to come up with a like denominator for 1/8 and 1/2. So 1/8 and 1/2, a good least common denominator for those two fractions would be 8. Now I know 8 will be the least common denominator because 8 is the least common multiple of 2 and 8. Least common multiple is a number that two other numbers will go into evenly. So 2 and 8 will both go into 8 evenly. 8 will go into 8 one time, and since whatever we do to our denominator we must do to our numerator, so essentially we have multiplied 8 by 1, which gave us 8. So we'd multiply 1 by 1, which would give us 1. So we can just move this fraction over here and not change it in any way. The reason we don't have to change it is, well, anytime you multiply a number by 1 or a form of 1, that falls under the multiplicative identity rule of 1, which means you can multiply a number by 1 and your product will be the number you started out with. Here we have 1/2. Now 2 times 4 gave us 8. 2 times 4 gives us 8. So we multiply the 2 by 4, we must multiply our numerator by 4. And 1 times 4 gives us 4. Now, I've had students who've had the misconception that if you multiply this denominator by, say, 4, you must multiply your numerator by 4, this denominator by 4, and this numerator by 4. That's not so. You only have to focus on one fraction at a time. And in this case, in order to go from 2 to 8, we had to multiply the 2 by 4, so we had to multiply the numerator by 4. This fraction, it has its own situation, which is not related to what we multiply these two digits to in order to get 8 and 4. Alright, so 1 plus 4 equals 5, and then the 8, the denominator, we just bring it down. We don't say 8 plus 8 is 16, we just take the denominator and bring it down. So our full answer is 5 wholes and 5/8. 5 and 5/8 is the answer. Now the reason I said this one was easy is because we wound up with a proper fraction. Had this been an improper fraction, had our numerator been greater than our denominator, then we'd have had to have done a little bit more work. But as it is this is easier. Now to do a problem like I just described, I'll kind of make a little space here, and this is where we'll work this problem. And I know that it's going to wind up with a sum that includes an improper fraction. Let's say we have 1 and 3/4, and we add to that 4 and 9/12. I can go ahead and say 1 plus 4 is 5 and bring that down. Now I have to work with my two fractions. I had to find a least common denominator. Now I had a student today in class say it's not necessary to find a least common denominator, and that's true. I mean, over here we could have, instead of using 8 for our least common denominator, we could have used 16. And after we had simplified it on down, we would have eventually come up with 5 and 5/8. We'd have still got the same answer, but it saves us the steps, some steps when we're simplifying, and we use the least common denominator. Here we have a 4, and here we have a 12. I know that the least common denominator for these two fractions will be 12. I know that because 12 is the least common multiple of 4 and 12. Both 4 and 12 will go into 12 evenly. So 12 is what we'll use. Since I didn't do anything to 12, essentially just pretty much just multiplied it by 1 to get 12. I'll multiply 9 by 1 and give myself 9. 4 times 3 gave us 12, so if I times the 4 by 3 here, I have to multiply my numerator by 3, and 3 times 3 times 3 gives us 9. Now, I add my numerators together. 9 plus 9 gives me 18, and then my denominator comes down as 12. Here I have an improper fraction. I have a numerator that is larger than my denominator. In order to convert this improper fraction to a proper fraction, well, in order to convert it to a mixed number, because that's what we're going to wind up as, I need to divide my numerator by my denominator. Now, our answer here will be our whole. We know 12 will go into 18 one whole time. So that's going to be our whole. And 1 times 12 is 12, and 18 take away 12 is 6. So our remainder is going to be 6, and this will be our numerator. And our divisor here will remain as our denominator. So this can be converted to 1 and 6 over 12. Now, we already had 5 wholes because we had 1 plus 4. Now, we have this 1 and 6 over 12. Let's go ahead and say 5 plus 1 will give us 6. And let's simplify this. We have 6 over 12. Now, the greatest common factor of 6 and 12, the number that will go into both 6 and 12 evenly, it's not 2, it's not 3, it's going to actually be 6. Now, I've had students before that look at this and they'll say, well, 2 will go into 6 3 times, and 2 will go into 12 6 times, and they write down 3/6. Well, you still have to reduce that down. And you can't say 3 will go into 6 twice, and 3 will go into 12 4 times, because that would give you 2/4, and you still have to reduce it down. So by using the greatest common factor, which is 6, I can go ahead and simplify it in one sweep. 6 will go into 6 one time, and 6 will go into 12 2 times. So the sum of these two fractions, 1 3/4 plus 4 9/12, is equal to 6 1/2. Now, I hope that this has helped you understand better how to add mixed numbers. Thank you for watching.